What's up, everybody? It is Carlos Collects Comics, and I'm back with another episode of Monday Hauls. This week, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my local comic shop pickups from the past week, new books that have come out. I'm also going to be sharing with you quite a few books that have come in from different places and how they tie into other videos that I've shot, and also other videos that are up and coming, and some great tips for books that you may want to be picking up right now. All that after the intro, so stay tuned. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to do the books that are brand new from the local comic shop. Now, this first one, I can't remember if I'd already shared this one last week or not, but I just wanted to share it because it's a really cool book and premise, interesting. I want to see where they go with the story. It is Bountiful Gardens #1. Now, this came out not this past week, but the week before. But my LCS hadn't set one aside for me, but they were gracious enough to get a copy of it for me and have it brought over. So I did pick it up this week. This is a really cool kind of a science fiction thriller / adventure. Interested in seeing what happens with it. It kind of had a vibe of The Woods, if you read The Woods. That was James Tynion's, one of his earlier works. But I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with that one. I think it might be worth picking up. Bedtime Stories for Impressionable Children. This is a quick anthology one shot from American mythology. Now, the reason my LCS put this in my box was because I am subscribed to all Zorro titles of any kind, of any age, and American mythology is who currently holds the license for comic books featuring Zorro, and so they've done some reprints, and I need to pick those up as well. But yeah, they included this. Looks really cool. It's like some soldiers riding mice around, and it talks about the Toothpick Warriors. So I'm looking forward to reading this one, and I'll make sure to share on Instagram at Carlos Collects Comics what I thought of that one. This is a book that seemed to get some that seemed to make some waves. I haven't read it yet, but I do have a good vibe about it. This is He Who Fights with Monsters. This is not the A cover. I think it's a C cover, maybe, or a B or C cover. And anything to do with fighting monsters, I'm down with. Miles Morales Spider-Man #29. This is the second print. How could you pass up a cover like that? This goes straight into the Miles Morales part of my collection. Batman, James Tynion's run is winding down, and I'm sticking with him until the very end. This is Batman #113, the cover A, and then also, of course, the cover B. Excellent artwork. DC is really has really nailed it with their variant covers. There's so many times, and they charge $1 more for them. So there's so many times that I pick them up, and I'm like, man, it's the same book, but that cover is so awesome. So, second to last, Radiant Black, issue #8. As usual, my 2 copies of cover A, and then 2 copies of cover B. I'm still sticking with Radiant Black. I'm a big fan. Kyle Higgins, the writer. I got a set of Radiant Black 1 through 7, cover A and B's, autographed by him at Fan Expo Dallas. I wasn't able to be there, but I wrote him a note. He wrote a letter back to me, and that was really cool. I don't have it down here with me, but I would otherwise I would show it to you. But it's really neat that he wrote a letter. So I'm sticking with Radiant Black. It's starting to get really good. There's extra heroes that are coming in. There's a space ninja assassin that's after them now. It's getting even better. So I think if you haven't jumped on the Radiant Black bandwagon yet, now it's still early enough to go ahead and do it. I highly suggest just going ahead and picking yourself up. The runs, just snag them. I think it's going to go somewhere. So, and it's definitely going to expand, and they'll have more going on with the Image universe. So I hope that you will take it to heart and pick it up. So here is my spotlight pick of the week. My spotlight pick is generally going to be a new book. It's a book that I think you should pay attention to because there's something really cool going on with it. All right, it's something that I responded to. Now, this is a lot more mainstream than I ever thought I would use as a spotlight. Most of the spotlight picks that I make are going to be books that are more independent. They're ones that you might not right away notice, but this one has been getting a lot of heat. It's a very hot book right now because there is a first appearance in this issue, and that is Moon Knight #3. So this is the cover A. And it is the first cover appearance also of Hunter's Moon, who is the other Fist of Khonshu. He's like the rival to Moon Knight. And look, I'm just gonna say it from issue 1, the new Moon Knight run just knocked it out of the park. I hadn't really thought much of it. I picked it up just to flip through it. I didn't even get the cover A for the first issue, but I read it and I thought, whoa, they did a really good job of consolidating his backstory because he's kind of crazy. Not a big fan of the whole multiple personality thing. I really like the kind of Egyptian mythology aspect and adventures vibe that they had, but they managed to tie it all together, put him in this new setting. And then at the end of issue 1, they introduce Dr. Badir, who will go on to become Hunter's Moon or be revealed fully as Hunter's Moon in issue 3, and I'm digging it. It's good, and it's a mainstream Marvel title, and I so wasn't expecting that because several of the other ones have been kind of, I had high hopes for them, but they just didn't quite get there, and this one actually did. I wasn't really specking or paying attention too much to Moon Knight. I'd sold off the run that I had a while back, and Werewolf by Night 32, and that whole cluster of books is just way too expensive, and I don't want to spend the money on it. But man, I was really impressed. So, it's just issue 3. If for no other reason, not because the books are getting more valuable, because I think these are 10 to 15 now on eBay, but because it's a cool story with a really cool character. He's not just the Marvel knockoff Batman anymore. This is worth getting and worth picking up for the reading and for the art. So my spotlight pick for this week is Moon Knight #3, but I do recommend going ahead and getting 1 and 2 because I'm sure you can still find them for cover price. You can probably still find some of the variants. I don't know about getting into ratio variants or store exclusives or any of that, but it's a killer book, so it's worth picking up. So those are my LCS pickups for this week. Now, I had quite a few books that all arrived at the same time, so this is a bigger mail call portion of the book, and I do have a spec pick that I'm going to share with you. It's already started picking up steam. It's already a bigger, it's already starting to grow. It was, I think, like a $1 book before, and it does involve Kang, of course. But I think there's something worth thinking about with that one. So let's get started on these. Now these have some prices on them. I did not pay these prices for them. I got a great deal. Shout out to Comic Shopping Network. A lot of cool shows. If you're a Facebook buyer, if that's your natural area, I highly recommend the Comic Shopping Network because they've got a lot of cool programs. Different stuff. I know. I don't remember who the host was for this one, or otherwise I'd give him a shout out. But then I'll give the other host a shout out for the other books that I got, and they all came from the same place. So this is Uncanny X-Men. This is starting with number 239, which I think is the first cover appearance of Mr. Sinister, and his is it first cover appearance? Maybe not. I don't know, but it's the beginning of the Inferno storyline, which I'd had a few of them earlier, and then I sold them off because they were a little bit lower. They were a little bit lower grade, maybe like 7.80s. These are all 9 or better, except for one of them. And I wanted to get a higher grades copy of them for my personal collection to just hold on to. So this is Uncanny X-Men number 239, 240, 241, which this is the fine in the bunch, 242, and 243. These are just kind of part of my growing up. They are all direct editions except for the one low grade one, which is a newsstand. But they're part of my growing up. I remember the artwork and the covers. They've been around forever. Those issues didn't really get a lot of attention. But recently, as I've been looking at Mr. Sinister, I said, man, I really want to pick those up. Maybe I'll have to do a video on them. So moving on, also from the Comic Shopping Network, this is from Dash. He's one of the hosts on the show, on one of the morning shows. I happened to pick him up. So I got a couple copies of Kang number 2 from the Kang the Conqueror series that's currently running on. Really interesting, cool series, worth picking up. But I snagged these two, but this is still not my spec pick of the week. I just wanted to grab 2 of those to make sure I had them because it's such a neat cover. It's interesting. Let's see, yeah. So then other pickups for the week. If you saw my Blue Beetle video, then you know that I'm on a quest for picking up some Blue Beetle books, and here is 2 of them. Booster Gold number 5 and Booster Gold number 10. Now these are both sadly VF minus-ish range, but they're fairly inexpensive, and this Joker cover is getting harder and harder to find because it's a Killing Joke homage, and just Joker cover in general, those always go fast. But they both need a press, but I did pick them up. And if you watched my Blue Beetle, top 10 Blue Beetle comics you should buy now, which I'll make sure to link in the description, well worth picking up, or well worth watching the 12 or 13 minutes of the video, so you can find 10 Blue Beetle keys. One of the next Blue Beetle pickups that I made was Blue Beetle number 1, the 3rd print. Now this is actually my favorite cover from this. I like the original cover, but once I saw this, I said, man, I really want one of those for my personal collection. And because I'm in my Hispanic superheroes wing of my personal collection, I have all the early issues for every run of the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle. I think there's 3 or 4 of them, and so I'm a fan of the character. I didn't know about this cover until I did the research for the video. So watch the video, because this is yet another one of them. I've now showed you 3 out of the top 10 picks for Blue Beetle comics you should be picking up right now. So this one, well worth picking up because it's such a cool looking design variant, and they weren't the big thing that they are now. Alright, so Kang, all things Kang, from 2 different vendors, 2 copies of Avengers number 269, Kang vs. Immortus, and then this is my spec pick of the week, Avengers number 267, the first appearance of the Council of Kangs. I've got 2 or 3 copies of this one now, and here's why I'm making it my spec pick of the week, because okay, so we already know that variants are going to be a thing. We got to see Loki lined up with all his variants, right? So, and then when we met he who, can't remember what do they call him? I don't know that it's Immortus, but it's he who has existed or something. Whatever the name was for the variant of Kang, played by Jonathan Majors in the last episode of Loki. We know that there's multiples, that there's variants, that they're going to do this kind of multi-dimensional, multi-time travel thing to all get together. So the idea of a Council of Kangs, a literal group of them, like a hive mind almost, that are working together, and then there's betrayal by the main one, like Kang Prime, or however it ends up going. I can absolutely see something like that playing out. And I'm not talking like the cheesy comic book way that it would play out, but like a legit, ruthless main Kang the Conqueror character who offs the rest of his guys, but they appear as this group, this council that at first is working together. I can so see that, and it would be so epic. So I think this is a book worth picking up, because I think that we're going to see multiple Kangs sharing space together, sharing scenes, and it's going to be epic, and it's going to blow people's minds, and people that didn't pick this book up are going to say, man, I wish I had picked that up back when it was only $20 to $30 a pop. And you can still find them for even cheaper than that. These books, these Avengers books, that's the crazy thing. These books were in like dollar and back issue bins for between $1, $3, $4, before Jonathan Majors was announced. And then people started quietly picking them up. And now that they've started getting hyped, now they're just rising in price. And I don't think it's going to be a situation like with that episode, with that issue of the West Coast Avengers, the first colorless vision. I don't think it's going to be a thing where it's just going to stick around for maybe just two, like we'll only see him for like 2 or 3 times. I think this is going to be a real thing, with the same way that they built up Thanos over so many different movies. I think they're going to do the same thing with Kang in a different way. So it's not just going to be a rehash. It's going to be in a different way. But yeah, the first appearance of the Council of Kangs, my spec pick for the week, my spotlight pick for the week, Moon Knight. Who would have thought that I was going to be saying to pick up a mainstream title? So those are the Monday hauls for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to leave a comment below. I have been replying to every single comment for every single one of you that interacts, because it's so important to me that you're taking the time out to watch one of these videos, that you're taking the time out to type up a comment, and that you're taking up the time out to think about some of the things that we're talking about here. I hope that you continue to stay plugged in. If you haven't, please consider subscribing. I would love to continue to share this material with you as we go on. And one of the big benefits of being a subscriber that's going to kickstart once we hit 200 subscribers is going to be the giveaways. Yep, you knew it. You knew there had to be giveaways coming. We're starting the push for 200/2000, and that's going to be 200. We're going to celebrate 200 subscribers on the channel very, very soon. I think as of the time that I recorded this video, I was at 192, so we're very close. And then on Instagram, I'm at 1,950 or 60 something. And we're going to celebrate hitting 2,000 there with giveaways as well. So I'm going to be doing giveaways. I'm going to be doing an announcement for each of them, for each platform, and it will cross over between the two. So by all means, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because I've got a lot of cool stuff planned, and I can't wait to share it all with you. Thanks again for letting me come into your home or your mobile device and share with you my pickups from the past week. Have a great week and happy hunting, because New Comic Book Day is right around the corner. I'll see you soon.